Hi everyone and welcome back to Maths and Physics with Mr. Simons. Here we have grade 11 trigonometry and we're looking now at physically reducing negative angles using the cast rule. Alright, so I hope you enjoyed the lesson and I hope you learned something, and remember to like and subscribe, right? The more you like and subscribe, the more I'm motivated to give you lessons that are helpful. I can give glory to God, because then I know what He chose me to do, I'm doing it well. Alright, so first off here, we have sine negative 50. So negative 50 degrees. Negative angle falls in the fourth quadrant. So in the fourth quadrant, sine is negative. So that becomes a negative sine 50. If I say tan negative 25, negative 25 falls in the fourth quadrant. The fourth quadrant tan is negative, so that becomes negative tan 25. Number 3, they gave us cos negative 40. So negative 40 falls in the fourth quadrant, so therefore fourth quadrant cos is positive and simply becomes cos 40 degrees. Give you cos negative 220, there's two ways I can go about it. So first, negative angle, take it as being in the fourth quadrant, there cos is positive, so it becomes positive cos 220. Then from there, 220 is the same as saying cos 180 plus 40. So 180 plus 40 gives me 220. 180 plus 40 falls in the third quadrant. So in the third quadrant, cos then becomes negative and gives me negative cos 40. Can also reduce using my negative angle reduction formulas. So there, can say cos negative 180 minus 40 would give me minus 220. Minus 180 minus acute angle falls in the second quadrant. So in the second quadrant, cos is negative, so therefore it becomes negative cos 40 degrees. Number 6 here, I should read number 5, but yeah, okay. We have sine negative 175. So negative angle, if I take it as being in the fourth quadrant, sine becomes negative, so it becomes negative sine 175. 175 I can then write as 180 minus 5, which is in the second quadrant where sine is positive, but positive times negative stays negative. Therefore, it becomes sine 5 degrees. Or I can say sine negative 175 becomes sine minus 180 plus the angle. So if we look at theta minus 180, that's in the third quadrant according to reduction formula. Therefore, that becomes negative sine 5 degrees. Right, let's look at some more problems. Reduce the following. So they gave me cos negative 210. Take the negative angle as being in the fourth quadrant. Cos is positive, so it becomes cos 210. From there, I can say cos 180 plus 30. 180 plus 30 would give me 210. 180 plus is a reduction in the third quadrant. So in the third quadrant, cos becomes negative, so it becomes negative cos 30 degrees. Or negative 210 can be written as negative 180 minus 30. So reduction with the negative reduction minus acute angle minus 180 would fall in the second quadrant. In the second quadrant, cos is negative. So that also becomes negative cos 30. And because it's a special angle, I can write the answer as negative square root 3 over 2 for both of them. Alright, number 8. Tan negative 130. Take negative angle as being in the fourth quadrant, so that becomes negative tan 130. Now I can write it as negative tan 180 minus 50, which gives me 130. And if I reduce 180 minus, falls in the second quadrant, and second quadrant tan is negative. Negative tan 50. So negative times negative become positive tan 50 degrees. Look at it differently. Tan negative 130, if I use negative reduction formula, that would become negative 180 plus 50 degrees. Right, so 50 theta minus 180 falls in the third quadrant. So in the third quadrant, tan is positive, so that becomes tan 50. Number 9, I have sine negative 275 degrees, which if I take negative angle in the fourth quadrant becomes negative sine 275. Right, and 275 I can write as 360 minus 85. In the fourth quadrant, it's given there, sign is negative, so negative times negative become positive, sine 85 degrees. Or if I use negative angle reduction, I can say minus 360 plus 85. Alright, and if I say plus 85 minus 360, I end up exactly back in the first quadrant, where sine is positive, so therefore it becomes sine 85. Right, let's look at some more problems. So I hope I'm doing enough for you to get the hang of it. As I said, please like and subscribe. Cos minus 300 degrees, negative angle, fourth quadrant. The fourth quadrant, cos is positive, so that becomes cos 300 degrees. Alright, so 300 I can write as cos 360 minus 60 degrees, which then in the fourth quadrant becomes cos 60. Right, or I can say cos minus 360 plus 60. So I have my acute angle, and if I subtract 360, I end up back in the first quadrant, so cos stays positive. Cos 60, and we should know cos 60 is a special angle equal to half. Right, then I have tan negative 330. Right, which then, if you take as negative angle, fourth quadrant, tan is negative, so it becomes negative tan 330. 330 can be reduced to 360 minus 30, gives me 330. 360 minus in the fourth quadrant. In fourth quadrant, tan is negative, so negative times negative will then give me positive tan 30 degrees, which is 1 over square root 3. Or for tan negative 330, I can say minus 360 plus 30 degrees would give me negative 330. So there I'm working in the first quadrant. First quadrant tan is positive, so simply becomes tan 30 degrees. Right, if you sine negative 345 degrees, take negative angles in the fourth quadrant, take out the negative, or fourth quadrant sine is negative. It becomes sine 345, so negative sine 360 minus 15 degrees gives me 345. That's fourth quadrant sine is negative, so this negative times the negative we have will give me positive sine 15 degrees. Or I can take minus 345 as minus 360 plus 15. That there is first quadrant. In the first quadrant sine is positive, so it becomes sine 15. So you can choose either one. I don't know which one you're comfortable with doing. That is just explanation of how we're going to use negative angles. Take note, in the later videos, we're going to look at full solutions and how all these reduction formulas I've explained will be combined in one problem. God bless. Wish you nothing but the best. Bye.